before I answer your question, I feel like I have to give you my perspective on what belonging is, because it's a conversation, right? People here are saying, what is belonging, Kevin? I don't know if I know what it is. And so I want to start there. And I will tell you, in that 2 years where I put my hands in the soil and I got on my bicycle, that was a spiritual journey for me. And I was reaching out to lots of spiritual communities. I was reading lots of self-help books. And one of the teachings I came across was talking about how we need to use our pain, our own personal pain, the things that where we have suffered and continue to suffer. This particular spiritual teacher was talking about that, we can find a lot of purpose and meaning when we use our pain and the lessons learned from it and give that to other people. And my pain, Ivan, is belonging. I have always felt that I was on the inside of groups, but I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like an outsider many times. Also, I also would feel as if I was on the inside, but that I was really lacking appreciation or value. That I wasn't, that I wasn't valued on the inside as whatever that group was, that a member of that group meant to be. And so, as I started to, think through my 10 years prior to kind of taking this leave, I was working in the US Hispanic market. And I had been studying with all of my such wonderfully talented colleagues and peers, especially those that were in strategic and account planning. One of them was a Spaniard, actually, 𝐷𝐸𝐿. He is an owner of a company called 𝐷𝐞𝐞 out of Madrid. And there he has translated marketing into innovation. And he uses many of the same things we've always talked about, but he taught me so much about needs and motivation. And so we were studying Latinos, like, what is it their true needs? Why are they here? What do they need in their American experience? What do they need from brands? What motivates them to buy? So he was teaching me about needs and motivation, and likely neuroscience too, because all of that is grounded in our brain and in what our brain needs for survival or for fulfillment. And so, as I kind of was thinking through, I'm like, wow, I do create experiences, consumer experiences, where I want consumers to come and feel like, wow, I belong here and I need to buy. Right. So belonging was always my journey, my pain, but also I had been using it to build consumer culture. So as I was then challenged with how do you build employee culture, and how would I do that through a sense of belonging? We now have been studying actively the last 10 years at our company, Experience Willow. We've been studying belonging with our clients' data, with our own data, and we believe we've landed on some very unique things. So the first thing we have to talk about is that we all have a shared 8 billion people, 8 billion humans on this planet have a shared need. It is literally a human need, a motivator, a driver to belong. We have basic needs. We need air, we need water, we need shelter. We need safety and security. But in our middle of our, what would be called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this is where emotional and psychological needs are. And so we have a need to belong. We have a need to be seen and to be heard, right? And our other psychological need that's at play actually in the workplace that is actually higher level than belonging is esteem. We need to feel good about ourselves. If we're going to do our best work, do our best things on this planet, we have to feel good about ourselves. So we need to be around people, included in groups, that value us, that respect us, that make us feel comfortable expressing ourselves, that make us feel as if we have a fair shot inside this group to succeed and achieve. We need these psychological needs. And this is where we are at work. We are at work now thinking about these needs that we have, right? And what's interesting about psychological needs, unlike basic needs, which are more lower level, is that it's not about tangible fulfillment. We know when we have air. If we don't have air, we're done, right? Yeah, we're done. But when we don't have belonging, when we don't have esteem, like it's these feelings and emotions that we have, not measurable really, right? And when we've been brought up even in cultures mostly that don't want to talk about feelings and emotions, especially at work. So we don't even have language for them. So our work has, as designers, trying to be at figuring out what are the emotional needs that these experiences need to, and feelings that these experiences we create inside workplaces, what are they? So we have this need to feel a certain way. And we believe the two main pieces of this are to feel included, to deliver on our belonging need. We are inside a group, but also to feel valued and respected inside this group. If we don't feel valued or respected, our brain tells us our survival inside the group is at risk.
Mm.
And so we go into fight or flight. We go into protection mode. And when we're in protection mode in a workplace, we're not doing our best work. We're worrying about our relationships and how we communicate, and do we raise our hand, and do we put in, do we speak up? And so we want people to feel good. And so we have discovered 4 what we call the feelings of belonging. People need to feel connected to a community. They share time and space with other human beings and they feel close to them. So feeling close to a community is really important, connected to that. We also need to feel connected to what we call at our company the core mission, core values, core strategy, priorities, goals. And it is important work at a company to cascade that core from the top of the company down into every role. Every role inside a company needs to know how that they are contributing to the mission, that they are living the values, that they are in alignment with the culture, that they are, achieving goals that help the company achieve its goals. The more you can do that, the more connected people feel. So feeling connected, this is an issue, a huge issue with remote workers, right? They lack the face-to-face interaction. They lack, sometimes the management practices, having managers that are good at connecting core, people to core, teams to core. So this is, connection is a feeling that remote workers really suffer. The next feeling is involvement. People need to feel like they're involved, that like they're not just sitting at the table, but they're, that they're actually doing something, that they feel involved, especially in decision making. Decision making is really important in work. People do not like when decisions are made about their work and they don't have their voices heard. That's a really hard thing, right? So not only do you want to feel connected, you also want to feel involved. You want to feel involved. And these two things drive what in the DEI world, these drive inclusion. Most of these things are behavioral, right? Behaviors. On this other side, there's 2 more feelings. The first one is respect and really like a consideration, comfort. So I want to feel as if people allow me to be me, that I can speak freely, that I can show up in whatever my diversity is, that, I can feel like I can reveal myself as an LGBTQ, employee. That's one of my pains at work is the first almost 10 years of my career, I was not out. So I felt the pain of what it means to cover and mask every day. And I use that actively today, as I think about especially how disrespected I felt or how I didn't feel considered, So those are also, but the last feeling is the most important feeling, which is appreciation. So we need to be connected. We need to be involved while we're being involvement in our contributions. We need to know that we matter. We need to know that we are doing a good job. We're being paid fairly. Like all of these things are important. So as we talk about remote workers, they have the same needs as non-remote workers. They have the same feelings as non-remote workers. So this model is really important. We just now have to figure out what are the systems, the practices, the rituals, the ceremonies, things that all cultures have. What are the things we need to have in place to help people feel connected, involved, respected, appreciated at work so that they feel belonging, so that they engage and give us their best selves.